Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment right now and ask yourself this question. Do you truly love yourself? Not the surface level, I like myself when things go my way, but the deep, unwavering love that says, I am enough. I am worthy. I am valuable. You see, most people spend their entire lives chasing validation from everyone else, friends, family, society, while completely ignoring the most important person in their life themselves. And that, my friends, is a tragedy, because the way you treat yourself sets the standard for how the world treats you. Now, let me tell you something that might shock you. Loving yourself isn't selfish. In fact, it's the most powerful thing you can do for your life. When you truly embrace who you are, when you honor your strengths and even your weaknesses, you start to operate from a place of confidence rather than fear. You stop giving your power away to people who don't appreciate you, and you begin attracting opportunities, relationships, and experiences that reflect your self-worth. Here's a hook for you, your self-love is your secret currency. Invest in it and watch your life grow in ways you never imagined. The way you treat yourself is the single most important standard in your life. Many people don't realize that everything they accept from others starts with what they accept from themselves. If you allow yourself to be disrespected, if you tolerate negativity, if you settle for less than you deserve, the world mirrors that treatment back to you. Imagine this: every relationship you have, every business deal you make, every opportunity you encounter is reflecting the energy and value you place on yourself. That's not just philosophy, that's reality. People don't just randomly treat you well, they treat you according to the level of respect and love you demonstrate toward yourself. Here's a hook for you. If you can't show yourself respect, don't be surprised when the world fails to respect you. The moment you understand this principle, everything shifts. You stop looking for approval and you start setting the standard. You start understanding that self-love isn't vanity, it's a strategic approach to living a life of purpose and power. Many people think they have to earn love from others first. They believe that if they perform well, if they achieve certain things, if they check all the boxes, then the world will treat them with respect. That's backward thinking. The real power is in starting with yourself. Before anyone else can treat you properly, you must establish a personal baseline of respect. You must decide deep down that you will not compromise your worth for convenience, for comfort, or for fear of rejection. Here's the truth most people ignore the moment you set a non-negotiable standard for how you allow yourself to be treated. You instantly elevate your life. Doors open, people align, opportunities show up, and all of it happens because you've declared your own value. Your self-love is your internal magnet, attracting exactly what matches the energy you give yourself. Now, let's talk about how this manifests in everyday life. When you treat yourself with honor, your decisions shift. You stop saying yes to everything just to please someone else. You stop tolerating toxic people, toxic environments, and toxic relationships. You start making choices that protect your peace, elevate your potential, and honor your purpose. And here's a hook. If you want the world to invest in you, you must first invest in yourself. Investing in yourself doesn't just mean material investments. It means valuing your time, energy, and emotional well-being. It means creating boundaries that reinforce your worth and refusing to accept anything less than what aligns with your highest vision. Think about it like this: self-love is a blueprint for the way your life unfolds. If you consistently treat yourself like a second priority, your career, relationships, and opportunities will reflect that secondary status. But if you make yourself a priority, if you honor your own needs, your own voice, your own growth, the people and situations around you rise to meet that level of energy. This is the power of self-leadership. It's not about arrogance or selfishness. It's about establishing a standard that cannot be negotiated. People respond to the energy you send out long before they see your resume, your achievements, or your words. And here's something most people never realize. When you honor yourself, you stop being desperate for validation. You stop measuring your worth based on others' opinions. Instead, you operate from a place of strength, clarity, and confidence. Your self-love becomes a shield and a compass, guiding you toward environments, people, and opportunities that genuinely respect your value. The world will always try to tell you that you need others' approval to succeed, but the real secret is that self-respect is the ultimate currency. Treat yourself with honor, and the universe responds by aligning everything to match that energy. This is why self-love is non-negotiable. It's not just about feeling good. It's about commanding the life you deserve. Every moment you choose to uphold your standard, you send a clear message: I am worthy. I am valuable. I am not willing to settle. And the world, like a mirror, reflects that message back to you, proving the principle true again and again. Many people make a critical mistake when it comes to loving themselves. They think it's selfish. They believe that putting their needs first, honoring their own worth, and prioritizing their growth somehow makes them arrogant, self-centered, or uncaring. Let me tell you something right now that is a lie, a misconception that keeps people trapped in mediocrity. True self-love is not selfishness. It is the most strategic move you can make in life. It is the foundation upon which success, happiness, and influence are built. Here's a hook to grab your attention. If you don't love yourself enough to protect your energy, no one else will. Self-love is a strategy because it changes the way you operate in the world. When you prioritize your own growth, health, and well-being, you automatically start making better decisions. You stop compromising for people who don't value you. You stop chasing validation that never comes. You stop accepting opportunities that aren't aligned with your purpose. And here's the key: the more you operate from self-love, the more you command respect, influence, and authority naturally. People don't just follow confidence. They follow the energy of someone who knows their worth. When you invest in yourself first, you create an irresistible magnet that draws success, opportunity, and powerful relationships directly into your life. Let's get practical. Self-love shows up in your daily habits. It's the decisions you make when no one is watching. It's saying no to situations that drain you, no to relationships that disrespect you, and no to anything that keeps you from reaching your full potential. At the same time, it's saying yes to growth, yes to learning, yes to investing in yourself, financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Here's a hook to make it real. Every time you say yes to yourself, the world starts rearranging itself to say yes to you. This isn't abstract philosophy, it's law. Law of energy, law of value, law of attraction. Call it what you want. But the principle is the same: self. Love produces results. Many people are blind to this because they confuse self-love with indulgence or arrogance. They think spending time, energy, or money on themselves is greedy. But here's the truth: if you don't invest in your own development, if you don't honor your own worth, you are giving the world permission to undervalue you. Let me drop another hook. When you fail to love yourself strategically, you are unknowingly training others to treat you with less respect than you deserve. Every act of self, love sends a signal, internally and externally, that you are serious about your life, serious about your value, and serious about the results you will accept. Here's the part most people miss: loving yourself first does not isolate you from others. In fact, it enhances your relationships, your influence, and your ability to contribute. When you operate from a place of strength and value, you give others the best version of yourself. You don't give out desperation or neediness, you give out confidence, wisdom, and presence. That is magnetic. That is power. People are drawn to those who honor themselves because it signals stability, strength, and reliability, qualities everyone wants in a partner, leader, or teammate. Finally, self-love strategy is about clarity. It allows you to see opportunities, people, and decisions through the lens of your worth. You no longer settle for less than you deserve, and you no longer waste energy chasing what doesn't serve you. You operate from abundance, not scarcity. You operate from confidence, not fear. And every action you take aligns with the life you are capable of creating. Here's a hook to remember. The moment you treat yourself as a priority, the universe starts treating you as a priority. Self-love is not something that happens once. It is a daily commitment, a practice, a lifestyle. Too many people think they can love themselves by saying a few affirmations or treating themselves once in a while, but that is surface level thinking. True self-love is demonstrated in the consistent actions we take, the choices we make, and the habits we maintain. Every day you choose to feed your mind with empowering thoughts. Every day you choose to nourish your body with the right habits. And every day you choose to honor your soul with respect. You are reinforcing your self-worth. Here's a hook to make this resonate. Consistency in self-love is like watering a seed. Neglect it and it dies, nurture it, and it grows into a forest. Every morning presents an opportunity to reset your value system. When you wake up, you can choose to engage in negative self-talk, or you can decide to speak life to yourself. Say, I am worthy. I am valuable. I am capable of achieving greatness. Do it even if it feels awkward at first. The more you practice, the stronger the neural pathways in your brain become, and the easier it is to operate from a place of confidence rather than doubt. Here's a hook for you. Your words to yourself are the architect of your reality. Build wisely. But self-love extends beyond thoughts and words. It is expressed in actions. It is choosing to invest in yourself when no one else will. It is prioritizing your time for things that enhance your growth rather than activities that drain you. It is surrounding yourself with people and environments that elevate your energy instead of depleting it. Let me give you a hook to remember. Every choice you make is a vote for the type of life you want. Choose to vote for yourself consistently. Self-love requires discipline because the world will always offer shortcuts, excuses, and distractions that pull you away from valuing yourself. You must be intentional, deliberate, and unapologetic in protecting your energy. Many people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They think self-love requires grand gestures, but the truth is, it's the little things done consistently that compound into monumental results. Drinking water when your body is dehydrated, resting when your mind is tired, feeding your spirit when it feels empty. These are acts of love. Saying no to toxic energy, refusing to overextend yourself, and choosing solitude over draining social situations are also acts of self-love. Here's a hook to drive this home. The small, daily acts of self-respect are the foundation for a life of extraordinary results. Accountability is another critical aspect. Self-love requires honesty with yourself. It requires evaluating your habits, your choices, and your patterns. Are you consistently speaking negatively about yourself? Are you settling for less than you deserve? Are you giving your time and energy to things that do not align with your purpose? The act of facing these truths and making deliberate changes is the most profound demonstration of self-love. Here's a hook. The moment you confront your weaknesses and take action to honor yourself, you create unstoppable momentum. Finally, self-love reinforces your identity. It allows you to operate from authenticity rather than imitation. When you commit to daily practices that affirm your worth, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop measuring your value by external standards. You operate from your own internal compass, your own truth, your own power. And when you do this consistently, the world starts responding to the energy you radiate. Opportunities, people, and experiences align with the value you place on yourself. Self-love is the daily investment that compounds into a life of purpose, power, and fulfillment. When you truly love yourself, you create a shield around your life that protects you from toxic energy, toxic people, and situations that do not serve your highest purpose. Most people fail to understand this principle and allow negativity to seep into their lives because they have not developed the courage to prioritize themselves. Toxic energy comes in many forms: critical friends, draining colleagues, unsupportive family members, and even your own limiting thoughts. The moment you start loving yourself, you stop tolerating these energies. Here's a hook. When you respect your own value, the world has no choice but to respect it too. Loving yourself more than anyone else means you no longer seek validation from people who do not genuinely care about your growth. You stop people pleasing because you understand that your energy is too valuable to give away for free. You stop sacrificing your peace just to keep others comfortable. And here's the real insight. Most of the conflicts and frustrations in life come from allowing other people's opinions and behaviors to dictate your sense of self-worth. Self-love is the antidote. The stronger your self-love, the less control others have over your happiness, your decisions, and your results. When you love yourself, boundaries become your best friend. You learn to say no without guilt, to distance yourself from negativity, and to prioritize environments that foster growth. Boundaries are not a sign of arrogance. They are a declaration of value. Every time you establish a boundary, you reinforce the message to yourself and to the world: I matter. My energy matters. My growth matters. And here's a hook: if you cannot protect your energy, someone else will consume it and leave you empty. People who do not respect your boundaries will naturally fall away, and that is exactly how it should be. Their departure is not rejection. It is a cleansing of your life so that higher level people, opportunities, and experiences can enter. Self-love also shifts your decision-making framework. When you honor yourself, you stop making choices based on fear, guilt, or obligation. You start making choices based on what aligns with your values, your goals, and your purpose. Every action you take becomes a reflection of self-respect. You no longer compromise for comfort, convenience, or temporary approval. Here's a hook: every decision that honors your self-worth multiplies your opportunities for success and peace. This is not theoretical, it is practical. When you refuse to allow toxic energy to influence your life, you naturally create space for clarity, focus, and progress. One of the most overlooked aspects of self-love is how it strengthens your relationships. When you respect yourself, you attract people who respect you. When you prioritize your own energy, you draw people who value theirs as well. Conversely, toxic relationships cannot thrive in the presence of someone who has unwavering self-love. Here's a hook: your self-love acts like a filter. It removes negativity and amplifies positive, aligned energy in your life. This means less drama, fewer distractions, and a stronger alignment with the people and situations that truly matter. Finally, self-love creates emotional resilience. Life will always present challenges, criticism, and setbacks. When you operate from a foundation of self-love, these external factors cannot shake you. You respond from strength instead of reaction, from clarity instead of chaos. Toxic energy loses its power because you have built an internal fortress of value and confidence. Here's the truth. The stronger you love yourself, the less influence toxicity has over your mind, your emotions, and your results. When you consistently protect your energy, enforce your boundaries, and operate from self-respect, you are not only loving yourself, you are creating a life where everything you desire becomes possible. The world always mirrors the value you give yourself, and toxic energy is naturally eliminated from your orbit. The key is consistency, courage, and commitment. Love yourself more than anyone else, and everything else in your life will rise to meet that standard. The most powerful transformation in your life begins the moment you commit to loving yourself more than anyone else. So many people are waiting for someone to validate their worth, waiting for someone to tell them they are enough, waiting for circumstances to change before they feel deserving. Here's the truth: external validation is unreliable, inconsistent, and often comes too late. True power comes when you recognize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. When you prioritize yourself, the universe prioritizes you. Loving yourself above all else allows you to operate from a place of authority and clarity. You stop chasing opportunities that do not align with your purpose because you now see your value clearly. You no longer tolerate mediocrity in relationships, career, or personal development. Here's a hook to remember: the moment you stop seeking approval from the world and start honoring your own worth, doors you never imagined begin to open. When you commit to self-love, you step into a life where your decisions are guided by alignment, not desperation, by confidence, not fear. Self-love also teaches you the art of attraction. People, opportunities, and resources are drawn to the energy you radiate. When you know your worth and operate from a high level of self-respect, you naturally attract those who recognize your value. Toxic individuals, dead-end situations, and distractions fall away because they cannot survive in the presence of your elevated energy. Here's a hook: yourself. Love is a magnet. It pulls in what belongs in your life and repels what does not. This principle is not just theory. It is the lived experience of anyone who has transformed their life through a commitment to honoring themselves. Another aspect of self-love is the freedom it gives you to embrace your true potential. Most people limit themselves because they are waiting for permission or fearing judgment. But when you love yourself, you give yourself permission to grow, to pursue your dreams relentlessly, and to invest in your own development without apology. You no longer allow fear, doubt, or the opinions of others to dictate your path. The moment you prioritize your relationship with yourself, you step into a level of personal authority that no one can undermine. This is why the most successful, fulfilled, and influential people in the world operate from self-love. It allows them to move confidently, decisively, and powerfully. Self-love also builds resilience. Life will challenge you. Critics will speak. Setbacks will appear. But when your foundation is built on unwavering self-respect, these external forces cannot shake you. You respond with strategy, patience, and wisdom instead of reaction, fear, or frustration. Here's a hook: the stronger your self-love, the more resilient you become, and the easier it is to navigate life's storms without losing your power. Resilience comes not from avoiding difficulty, but from loving yourself enough to stay committed to your vision despite it. Finally, self-love unlocks your destiny. Everything in life is a reflection of the energy you put out. When you love yourself first, you begin attracting opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that are aligned with your highest purpose. You stop settling, stop compromising, and stop waiting for someone else to validate you. Your self-love becomes the compass that guides you toward everything you were meant to achieve. It is the key that transforms potential into reality, dreams into results, and limitations into freedom. Every step you take from a place of self-respect, value, and love compounds into the life you were designed to live. When you commit to loving yourself more than anyone else, you are no longer at the mercy of the world's opinions, the chaos of circumstances, or the limitations others try to impose on you. You are free to create, lead, and live at a level few ever reach because your standard is set by you and you alone. Learn to prioritize yourself, honor your worth, and invest in your growth. The results will be undeniable, unstoppable, and life-transforming. So today, I challenge you, stop seeking validation outside of yourself. Stop measuring your worth by anyone else's standards. Instead, commit to loving yourself more than anyone else. Invest in your growth. Celebrate your victories. Forgive your mistakes. And every single day, remind yourself, I am my most important relationship, and I am worth every ounce of love I can give myself. When you do that, everything else in your life aligns. You will attract better people, make smarter decisions, and step fully into your destiny. Learn to love yourself more than anyone else, because until you do, the world will never see the fullness of who you truly are.